Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is Caroline. I am back with a new video. Alright, I am going to show you guys how you can do your own self faux sew-in weave with a lace closure. Okay, I'm also going to show you guys how you can slay that closure and make it look like a frontal. If you're into frontals or you don't want to get a frontal but you like the way that it look and you like your closure to look like that, okay? Or maybe you don't want to deal with the hassle of gluing your frontal down here and there, but you want to deal with your closure. So I'm just going to show you how you can slay it, okay? Moving on to my braiding pattern, honey. This is the braiding pattern you're going to have to do when you do your lace closure, okay? If you don't know how to braid, that's the only thing I'm not going to teach you in this video, but you can definitely get somebody to braid for you. You can definitely get the braiding shop, the African shop, to get it braided for you, but you need to braid it like this, okay? So this is my braiding pattern. And also, in the back of my neck, my first two braids, I did connect them, making a U-shaped form. I did go across my neck to make that U-shaped form. This will just help me secure a track back there, that if I did wanted to get my hair out of the way, wanted to do like a low ponytail in the back for my weave, I will be able to do it. That's why I always do the first two braids like that. Alright you guys, so this hair is from Recool hair. Okay, if I'm saying the name wrong, honey, the name will be listed in the description box so you can check it out. Alright, but this sent me 3 bundles of hair with a lace closure, okay? They sent me their Brazilian straight hair in the inches of 124, 122, 120, and 18 closure. Okay, all the information for this hair will be listed in the description box for you guys to check it out, okay? Alright, so this is how the closure looks when you do get most closure. This is how it comes. It usually doesn't come pre-plugged. You might get some that have a little bit of baby hair, but most likely it's just gonna come blunt just like this, okay? So you're gonna have to customize it before you start to put it on, because once it goes on your hair, I don't know about you, but for me, if I put stuff on my hair, I cannot really see well up there, so I need it to be right before it goes on my head. Alright, so moving on, I want to make this closure look like a frontal. So the first thing I did do was to tweeze it out. I had to pluck it a lot, okay? You want to pluck it, making sure that it's nice and seamless in the front before you go ahead and put it on your head. Alright, so as I start to pluck, I do start off with the front part, and I do take out some baby hair, and I pluck in between the hairline just to make it look thin, make it look a little bit natural. And then I take my comb and I start to part the roll going towards the back area, and then I use my tweezer and keep plucking in between each part in space. This will just help my hairline looks natural, so it falls back a little more natural and looks a little bit more nicer when I put it on. Alright, so this is how it looks after doing some tweezing. If I don't like it when I try it on, then I'll go back, but for now I think I love the way it looks, and I'm going to move on to the next. Alright sis, do you see my closure though? Do you see that closure? Do you see how nice that closure is plucked? Okay. Now the next thing that we're going to do is cut our lace off. If I was doing this on my client, I'll probably leave the lace on and cut it on their hair, but I'm doing this on myself. So I can't see up there, honey. I don't want to mess my baby hair and my hairline up. So I'm going to take my pair of scissors now and I'm going to cut the lace. And watch as I cut the lace, I am doing it not in a straight line. I'm doing zigzag as I cut. I'm twisting my hands up, left, and right, or up and down, whatever way, and I'm cutting across. I don't want a straight edge. I want my frontal to look seamless, so that's how I cut it. Now, the next part to the cutting, you know how your closure comes with those little things on the side that you can sew. You don't want this part to be on your forehead, okay? So you want to cut this part off. This is where you're going to be gluing on top of your head, so you don't want that part there. So you're going to cut both sides off. You are not cutting the whole thing. You're just cutting the part that's going to be glued down to your hairline. That's the only part you're going to cut. You're going to leave the rest of it because you're going to be sewing that part down, okay? So this is how your closure slash wannabe frontal supposed to look like. All right. All right, so once you got your closure looking the way it's supposed to look, okay, we're going to move on with the install. The first thing you want to do is put the closure on. You want to measure where the closure stops, where you're going to be placing the closure on your hairline, okay? So I did put it on first, and I did mark it with a little bit of my foundation. I just stick it on both sides just so it gives me a guide of where I want the closure to stop. Alright, so once we have our spots measured off, you want to take your stocking cap, and I'm going to put the stocking cap over my head, and you can see where my foundation stops. I'm going to pull the stocking cap above the line before I take my Got2b glue spray and spray the center part down where I measure my closure at. Alright, so after the Got2b spray, you want to use a blow dryer or air dry to let the Got2b spray dry with the cap. Alright, once my Got2b spray is completely dry, I take my pair of scissors and cut around it, removing the rest of the stocking so that the stocking just stays right in the middle of my hair where the closure is going to be at. Alright, so once I have the middle part down, I'm taking my foundation powder. You can use any foundation powder of your skin type and just tint the stocking so that it matches your skin tone. Alright, I also went ahead and tint the lace on my closures. You can definitely go ahead and bleach your knots if that's something you like to do. I personally don't like bleaching my knots on my frontal or closures, but you can go ahead if you choose to. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is move on to applying our glue. Now for glue, you can use any type of glue that you prefer, any type of Got2b lace glue, wherever one you prefer, okay? But this one that I'm using is the Ghost Bind Glue, okay? And you have to do 3 layers. You do the first layer, you let it dry, you can either blow dry or air dry it, but it has to turn clear because when you put it on, it's white. You have to wait for it to turn clear, and then you go ahead, you apply the second layer. You also blow dry it and wait for it to turn clear, and then you apply the third layer. So you're going to do 3 layers, and you're just doing 10 strips right across the stockings and your hairline. Where the closure stops, that's where you're going to apply your 10th layer of glue. Alright, so once you have your third layer of glue, this is how it's supposed to look. As you guys can see, it's not white, it's just clear at this point. So you take your closure and you just lay it directly on your 3 layers of glue, measuring exactly where your closure stops at, okay? And I'm just using a rotate comb just to press it into the glue, making sure that it's securely sitting on the glue. It doesn't have any lumps in between it. The lace is flat, and just making sure that it's sitting down nicely and seamless in the front, okay? Right now, moving on to securing the closure down. Now that we have the front part glued down, I'm going to take the back part and I'm going to measure the back part right on the stocking cap, and I'm going to take my thread and my needle and begin to sew one side down, and then I'm going to move on to the next side, the other side, and begin to sew the other side down and go to the back and sew it down and connect it. Alright, sis, you guys, I sewed this closure down, and look at this closure, sis. Look at this closure, sis. Do you guys see this closure? Do you see how natural that closure looks? Look at how nice it's parting. You can see I have a parting space. The lace is tinted nicely to my skin tone. The front of it is just laying down right, sis. Do you see this closure? All right. Now we're gonna move on to installing our bundles. Our closure is slay. I can't find my way back. Alright, so moving on to the bundles, I do have 3 bundles of hair. I'm going to be starting off with the longest length, which is the 24 inches. And I'm going to be starting with a single track. I'm going to start from the back of my ear, from the left side of my ear, and then I'm going to work my way sewing the track on that bottom row where I have that U shape braid that goes around my neck. I'm going to sew that track on that braid from one side of my ear to the other side of my ears. Alright, so once I sew this one track in the back of my neck, you guys can see how well I can be able to pull this up. It might not be a perfect ponytail, but I can be able to pull it up once my full hair is weaved. Alright, so after putting that track in the back, I just went ahead and double up my tracks, and I'm going to just fast forward this part just to try to cut the length of this video down a little bit. So I'm just taking my thread and needle and I'm sewing the tracks from one side of my ears to the other side of my ears, and I'm just working my way till I get to the top. I do not cut my weft till I get to the top part. For the first two bundles, I did not cut my wefts. I just went in here and sewed the tracks on using the flip over method and just going around my head. And now that we put in the two bundles, this is how the two bundles is looking. I do have a third bundle, and this is how much space I have left. I might not be able to squeeze the full bundle in, but I'm going to try to squeeze as much in as I can. Okay, so starting with the last bundle, which is the shortest length, I'm going to start to put it on till I get to the closure. Until you find your way back home. Alright, so after installing my third bundle, I do have a little piece left, and this is the piece I'm going to use to close this sewing up. Okay, now when you get to your lace closure, because this is a lace closure, you also want to treat it like a frontal. You don't want to sew your track on your lace closure, because just in case your baby hair gets plucked out more, or you loses some hair in the front and you want to replace your closure, or your closure gets old but you still want to keep your bundles intact, you want to sew your track as close to the closure as possible, but you do not want to sew your track on your closure, because just in case you want to change up your closure, you will be able to change it up without messing up the rest of your hair. And once you sew down your closure piece, your end piece, this is how your end piece should look. It should not be sitting on your closure, but instead it should be sitting right close to your closure. You want to be able to remove your closure, like I said, if you choose to. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to look. Alright, sis, so this is my full sew in. You guys, look at that closure though. Look at that. I'm in love with this sewing, alright? But of course, I gotta show you guys the finished look. So I'm gonna go put some makeup on, and then I'm gonna come back and then we're gonna finish up this hairstyle, okay? Alright, you guys, so my makeup is done. I just finished beating my face. We're going to move on to styling this hair. Taking my blow dryer and my paddle brush, I'm going to blow dry the hair. It's already a straight hair. I don't need much to it to get done because I'm going to wear it sleek, just like this. So I'm just blow drying it, adding some heat, just loosening it up, making it a little more silky. Then I'm going to go in with my hot comb and press my closure down. We are treating this closure like a frontal, honey. So yes, we are pressing the closure, making sure it's nice, it's flat, it can move wherever side we want it to, left, right, middle, wherever. Just making sure that it's nicely secure on. Now, as you can see, this really don't need baby hair. Plus, I'm not too much of a big fan of too many baby hairs, but just to make sure that my lace is melted down, I'm going to take a little tiny bit of strands of hair from the front line of the closure, and I'm going to cut them just to make a little bit of baby hair. Alright, so after making my baby hair, I'm just taking a little bit of mousse. This is my Nairobi use. It's my holy grail. And I apply a little bit of it just to that hairline, just to make sure that my baby hair will be laying down nicely. And also I want to make sure that my lace is melted, okay? So after that, I went in here and just took a Senex wrap. You can take any scarf or anything and securely wrap it around your entire hair and let it sit and let it air dry. While it's doing that, I take my flat iron and I went in here and flat iron the entire hair just to make sure that it's really neat, it's really sleek, it doesn't have any bumps, even though I blow dry it earlier. Okay, once that is done, that is pretty much it. I did went in here and I took the Senex strip off, and after I took it off, this is how it looks, and I love it. You can see how that lace is melted into my skin. This is how I love my baby hair. So please don't come at me. This is how I love my baby hair to be. All right, and I just taking my flat iron now and going over the lace, making sure everything is nicely flat, and it's just seamless. Alright, sis, do you guys see the end results though? Do you guys see this end result? Look at this sew in. Look at how slayed this sew in is. I am in love with this hair. I've done many works before on my hair, but this one right here, this one is the one. Okay, sis, I love this. I absolutely love this. Yes, this is my hard work. I did that, girl. I did that, sis. Yes. Okay, so this is pretty much it for this beautiful lace closure full sew-in that you can do on yourself. Save yourself some money, girl. All right, I absolutely love the way this turned out. And as I was saying, for the back of it, you guys, you can put this up in a low ponytail. Maybe you just want to go to the gym and you got your sewing on and you don't want all this long hair hanging all over you. You want to put this in a ponytail, you definitely can. It might not be a perfect ponytail in the back. You might have your little hair here and there on it, but it's definitely worth you putting that one track in the back so you can be able to pour it up in a nice little ponytail and keep it moving, whether you're going to go jogging or just being cute at the gym, or you just want to have a low sleek ponytail for that cute little outfit, or whatever the case may be. All right, you can definitely achieve that with this hairstyle. You won't get it tonight, 'cause I can fly.